And one of the things that I teach is mindfulness. And I had something happen to me this week, and I want to share it as an example of how to practice mindfulness. I get that question a lot, or people just saying like, I don't know where to start. So here's where you can start. I'll share my example. So I just got back from vacation. My vacations are pretty low key. I'm a person that tries to stretch money. And I like community. So I actually house sat for a family, and I got to take care of their dog and their home. My son and I both did. And then they got to enjoy their vacation, right? And I've deemed myself trustworthy. So in case you want a free trip, know that there's work that has to be done. Like, you have to do a good job taking care of somebody's space, become reliable. But anyway, that does exist. So I was on vacation with my son, and we had, a whole week of playing music and singing together, and with my friends out in Colorado. We were in a state that I love. I got to show him places that I love for the first time and let him explore nature in a new way, going on hikes and nature and science center and just like cool stuff, right? He's finally at this age where he's like, so cool. Or he'll say like, that's not cool, that's super cool. He doesn't say it like that, but anyway. Playing guitar with an aunt and drums with his uncle, and it was beautiful, right? I'm driving home, and day 2, like 3 hours left in the trip, but it was getting to be bedtime, so I told my son, let's stop and go on a quick hike. I wanted him to move his body. I needed to move my body. And so we're in there like maybe 20 minutes max. And we come back out, and he gets in the car, and I am like organizing stuff to finish the drive. He's like, Mom, there's ticks on me. Oh my God, there were ticks on him, like several ticks. And I start pulling them off, and they're like biting him, and he's bleeding. It was like this whole thing, right? But I'm that person that must be very thorough in my checking. So both of us, we had to get rid of all of our clothes, put them in a bag, and tie them up, check our whole bodies before I could even get into the car and head home. Like it was that, because I had 3 hours. Ticks, I don't do ticks, man. Anyway, I'm dealing with this thing, and then the whole ride home, I was paranoid about like, did I get them all? I even detailed my car myself today in the heat of like 100 degrees because I was that paranoid. Like, I cannot deal with a tick in my house. I gotta get this taken care of. So this tick incident cost me so much time and energy, and it became like the highlight at the end of my trip. And this is like, we just got home this morning at like 1 a.m., right? So this is very fresh in my mind, but very quickly I found myself in this victim mentality. This is not to say that I wasn't a victim of ticks. I was. They victimized me and my son, biting him. But to say that I got into this victim mentality, or this kind of down, people would ask how the trip was, and I'm like, it was great until we got attacked by ticks. So I'm like, now framing the whole vacation, a whole week prior to that, of just amazing time with my son, and letting it be sort of overcast by this one incident with ticks that lasted less than a day, right? So that was my mindfulness of realizing like, man, I'm giving a lot of energy to this storyline here of like, these ticks attacked me. Because people, when you come back from vacation and somebody knows, they'll be like, how was vacation? Da, da, da. So I was telling that story, and it's like, why, Crystal? So I started questioning, like, why am I doing that? Do I need to be doing that? Is that a good story to keep playing? That is mindfulness right there. It's just questioning the stories that are going through our heads. Because the reality is, most of what happens out in the world, it's sort of like bumping into each other, right? Like, okay, for example, if we are into somebody, or we've got a coworker, anybody we have a relationship with where we continue to see each other each day, most of us will start some sort of narrative in our head of how it's going to go. Oh, so-and-so, I know so-and-so is going to say this at work and I'm going to get upset. And we are creating a narrative that has not happened. And the likelihood of it happening gets stronger the more that we emphasize that idea of like, this is going to happen. Because our thoughts create our reality. They're energy, waves of energy, creating our reality. So if we're focusing on the negative all the time and allowing that to outweigh, right? Like, again, this incident of the ticks outweighing my entire vacation. Like, that's stupid, Crystal. Chill out. But it was that in recognizing, hey, I can't do that. That's not fair. That's not fair to me or my son and all that time that we spent together. So that is it. That's the practice. And then after that, once we start noticing more, just be like, yeah, I don't know if I believe that. We can start to question it. Like, is that true? But first it takes noticing it. Noticing any type of habit or behavior of like, oh, I guess I do make up negative stories in my head. I guess I do think this about that person, or because it keeps coming back up and it keeps playing through our head. So catching ourselves helps to be mindful. And then seeing like, is this something that I want to be my narrative? Do I want the story of my vacation to be about ticks? Not really. It was a beautiful vacation. I hiked in some gorgeous areas. I was with my closest friends, not all of my closest friends, because I have several, but people that I love and that love me. And like, brilliant. No to ticks. Yes to mindfulness. So that's just a practice. It is a practice. It's just a practice. And the more that you practice it, the better that you get. And then eventually you get to the place where I would say I'm at currently in my practice, which is, it still happens. The negative thoughts still go through, or I still focus on the negatives. But I can catch myself and be like, nope, not going that way. There's a yogic teaching, actually. It was a story that my son and I were listening to this morning. So he's 4. He's just barely, it's just going in one ear and probably out the other, but he's hearing it. And any teacher will tell you, you have to repeat things over and over and over for kids to catch them. But this yogic teaching was about how anger can destroy us. It can be destructive. And so the yogic teacher says, when you are angry, sit with it and maybe even bring a smile to your face. And you'll notice that the anger eventually goes away. But if we act in it, then something else comes and we perpetuate this anger out in the world. But yes, can we sit with it? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we need to act with it. There's a season for all things, right? Anyway, thanks for listening.